Corel Connect is the perfect place to start any project. Whether you're searching for vector images, bitmap images, fonts, or some other file type, if that file exists on your system, then Corel Connect can find it for you. In fact, I'm going to search on the word cars. You'll notice presently I have the X6 content selected, and that's where all of these results are presently coming from. To see a larger preview, hover your mouse over any one of the files. If you want to use that file, simply select and drag and drop onto a tray. We can have a number of trays. To add a tray, simply click the plus. As you can see here, I have a tray that I've placed different images on for another project I'm working on. And here in my first tray, I actually have a number of different file types, a PDF file and a font. You know, we can actually install or uninstall fonts direct from Corel Connect. Simply right click and choose install, and if it were already installed, uninstall would be available. And of course I have a JPEG file, a CPT file, and I've even got a vector image ready to go for this project. Well, being able to gather all of the assets, the different file types, even fonts that I require for a project and place them on a tray for when I start working on my project, well, of course it makes life so much easier. So why don't we go ahead now and have a look at the X6 content. If you don't presently have X6 content available for searching, then be sure to install the extras from your CorelDRAW installation. Well, to look inside of the content, simply click this little triangle to break down the tree. And in fact, we can rearrange this entire display area so that we have more room to see. And I can move this over a little bit so that we can see our folders and trees somewhat better. Well, if I were to click on bitmap patterns, all of the new bitmap patterns that we have available begin to display. We can scroll through these, and in fact, we can adjust the zoom slider to see a closer preview if required, or smaller so that more can fit in our display area. As we move down, we can look at clip art, and if we click on the clip art folder, of course, all of those folders display here, or we can display the individual folders here. If I click baseball, then of course I'll see baseball results. Moving down the list, we can look at the fonts that we have, and if I come down to photos, we can see a lot of the new types of photos that we have available here. These are all premium photos of high quality, very easy to use, and will make all of your projects absolutely look outstanding. Well, of course, we don't have to only look inside of our X6 content. If you have a previous version installed, such as I do, click this little eye, navigate to your version. I've got X5 installed. Click and then click on the locate button, and I'm going to navigate to where I installed the content from X5. If I click libraries and document and public documents, Corel, and then my CorelDRAW X5, click on extras and then click on content, click OK, automatically that content has now been added to Corel Connect. So depending on how many versions you have, you can have access to all of your older content through Corel Connect. Now, in addition to this, you can also search other folders that you may have. I can search in My Documents, My Pictures, or anywhere throughout my system. You'll also notice under libraries we have a few extra libraries now, iStock Photo and Photilia, and also Flickr. When you first open Corel Connect, each of these will have this little red symbol. Simply click the little red symbol and an activation screen will come up. So click the little activate button, and it's very, very important that you go ahead and you read the Yahoo Terms of Service. Well, for each of these options, whichever one you choose, they all have terms. Be sure that you read those terms all the way through and you understand what the service is that's being provided to you. And once you've done that, then go ahead, click accept, and you can set the number of results. And in fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to type in a different search term. We'll now see an array of results, of course, based upon the libraries we have selected. You'll notice that each library is separated. Now, we have the name Flickr, and if I scroll down a little, we have Photilia, and iStock Photo. Oftentimes, what we'll see here is actually the path to the folder or various file we may be looking at. Well, I can change any of these. Simply turn all those off and we'll select X5 and simply click Search Again or click Refresh. Now we're seeing results that are only from the X5 content. So there's our X5 content as well as from Flickr. It really is so convenient, and there are so many great possibilities for finding the type of content you need for your projects. I'm just completing a search on the word fruit. Well, over here on the right hand side, we've got both vector images and bitmap images as we scroll down. Now, as we look at these images, if there was a particular vector image that you thought would be a great pattern fill image, watch this. I can right click and I can choose Install as a vector pattern. If you recall, in CorelDRAW we can go to Fill and we can choose Pattern Fill, and then inside of that we have some options. One of those is a vector pattern option. Well, if I choose this and click Install, that piece of fruit, that vector image, is now available as a vector pattern fill. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to filter my results, so now all I can see are bitmap images. It can actually make searching for particular types of things a lot easier. I'm going to scroll down a little, and if I were to select and right click and choose Install as a bitmap pattern, again that will be available inside of that fill area in CorelDRAW. Now, have you been noticing that as I move around the menu, oftentimes I'm using a right click? And the right click menu you see and all of its contents will be determined by your operating system and installed programs. But one thing that is absolutely fantastic is copy or Control C on your clipboard. What that means is that you can use Corel Connect to find resources for any program you may be working in that you can paste an image into. Isn't that fantastic? And of course, from here I can actually email one of my images, I can print an image, or even open it with an alternate program. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to create a brand new tray. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add a new tray, and then I'm going to right click and rename, and I'm going to call this fish. Then we're going to do a search on the word fish and hit enter. And what we're going to do now is drag some fish down to this tray, because in the next video, which we're going to continue on with, we're going to start another project and we need some fish for that project. So I'm going to select a couple of possibilities, and that one there, and scroll down a little bit more. Bright and colourful is what we're looking for, so that one there. And I also saved a little earlier today over here in My Pictures this image up here of a couple of fish. And I've got a feeling this might actually be the one we'll end up using. But the point is, I've got a number of choices now because I've placed them on this tray, and I've called this tray fish, and so when we open up in CorelDRAW, we'll have all of this available to us. In fact, why don't we do that? I'm going to open CorelDRAW now. Well, here in CorelDRAW, all we have to do, of course, is click Search Content. And that will bring up the Connect Docker if it's not already docked to the right hand side. In fact, I'm going to pop that over there, and we'll move this up here, and I'm going to click the Show Hide the Tray button, and then I'm going to close down this portion of the Docker. Now that I have my tray, I want to show you a few different ways you can work with the tray. So I'm going to first of all undock the tray. I'm going to just pop it over here, and you can actually resize the tray to suit your project and tuck it in a really convenient location. Or like me, I work on two screens, so I can put that on the other screen. Always remember, you can rename a tray at any time. Let me call this Cars. Now, there is a great feature that I know a number of you will find very valuable. Now, to demonstrate this, I'm going to just paste down some graphics. Let's assume that I've been working on this document for quite some time, and of course I have my page set up to a particular page size. Now what I want is I want to bring graphics in from another document that I've been working on, but I don't want to lose the location of those graphics that are existing in that other document. Here's what we do. Let's assume that this car is in that other document. If I right click and I choose Import at original position, then automatically the graphics in that document are imported into this document, maintaining their original positions in the document I'm importing from. Isn't that just fantastic? Of course, not affecting the graphics I have on this page at all. Another great little way of using the tray is to click the minimize button. And what it actually does is it breaks down into a little toolbar. Isn't that really great? And of course, if I click the maximize button, that will redock or double click to bring back and stretch back out again to the size that you want. And in fact, we'll go this time to the fish tray. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on now to our next project. And in our next project, we'll work with the same tray and graphics, and we'll start on the subject of page layout.